I know you're about to skip this. I know your finger is already sliding to the next video, but stop for just a moment, because what you're about to ignore isn't just another video. It's an interruption from destiny. And if you're seeing this right now, at this precise instant of your life, it's not a coincidence. It wasn't the algorithm that brought you here. It was your soul that stopped your hand. You have exactly 72 hours before an unprecedented planetary convergence closes the most powerful transformation portal of this year. This is not a forecast. It is an energetic map of the exact moment when the universe separates those who act from those who only observe. Between October 28th and 31, something that has been compressing inside you for months is about to detonate. And the proof of this critical moment isn't in the stars, it's in your body. It's in the exact sensation you felt when you read the title of this video. That resistance, that urge to move on, that voice that says you've already seen enough motivational videos. That very resistance is the clearest sign that you are standing right at the edge of the leap your entire life has been waiting for. Before continuing, before revealing why these 4 days are going to redefine your entire trajectory, I need you to do 3 things to anchor your energy and prepare your receptive field. First, like this video to send a resonant signal to the unified field and declare that you're ready to receive. Second, subscribe to this channel, because in the next 72 hours, I'm going to share urgent updates you can't miss. And third, and this is the most important, write in the comments the words "I choose the leap" to sign your connection with this divine intervention and declare that you're willing to move even if you're afraid. Do it now. Not later, now, because every second that passes is 1 second less of this magnetic portal. Let me explain something that no one else is going to tell you with this clarity. Most people believe change arrives in inspirational moments. They believe transformation happens when you feel powerful, when you're motivated, when you can see the light at the end of the tunnel. But that's not true. The truth is much more uncomfortable and much deeper. Real change, true metamorphosis, always happens in the middle of the road. Not at the beginning, when everything is excitement and promises. Not at the end, when you can already see the results. But in the middle, in that grey and confusing place where there is no inspiration and no evidence, where there are no applause and no external validation, where there is only a silent question that pierces your soul like a laser. Are you going to keep going, or are you going back? And right now, at this exact moment of your life, you are standing in that middle, in that point where 90% of people quit, where 90% of dreams die, where 90% of souls return to the old version of themselves because the discomfort of not knowing became heavier than the hope of transforming. But you are not the 90%. If you were, you would have already closed this video. If you were, you'd be looking for distraction instead of answers. If you were, your soul wouldn't have stopped your scroll right on this message. You're here because something inside you, something bigger than your conscious mind, knows this is the moment. The exact moment when the universe is offering you the last opportunity of this cycle to jump. And what makes this moment so critical, so delicate, so dangerous is that it doesn't feel like an important moment. It feels like nothing. It feels like boredom. It feels like tiredness. It feels like nothing is happening. And that is exactly the trap, because what's actually happening is that the universe is compressing you, like a bow being drawn before releasing the arrow, like a spring contracting before exploding forward, like the earth cracking right before the seed sprouts. The stillness you feel isn't passivity. It's compression, an accumulation of force. It's the deep breath the athlete takes just before jumping the highest hurdle of their life. This phase of apparent silence, this sensation of emptiness, this experience of being on pause is not a setback, not evidence that you failed, not proof that nothing is working. It's exactly the opposite. It is the strongest proof that something monumental is about to emerge. But here is the deadly danger. Here is the reason most people miss the moment, because in this compression phase, your mind panics. Your ego interprets stillness as death. Your nervous system mistakes waiting for abandonment. And then you start to sabotage yourself. You begin to doubt. You go back to old patterns. You reactivate old stories. You look for old distractions. And right when you were inches from detonation, seconds from launch, one step from the breakthrough, you decide that nothing is happening and you quit. This is the greatest tragedy of human consciousness. It's not that people lack potential. It's that people let go of the bow right before the arrow flies, and the universe watches. The universe always watches. Not to judge you, not to punish you, but to measure one thing. Can you hold the vibration without evidence? Can you keep the faith when there are no signs? Can you keep moving when there is no external confirmation? Because that is the only test that matters. That is the only initiation that separates those who manifest from those who merely dream. And now, right now, the sky is responding. Because after months of compression, after months of waiting, after months of silence, the movement finally begins. And it's not a subtle movement. It's an explosion. Between October 28th and 30, Mars and Jupiter form an alignment that occurs with this intensity only about once every 2 years. And what this means isn't decorative astrology, it's energetic physics. Mars is action, courage, decision, embodied will. Jupiter is expansion, opportunity, growth, abundance made manifest. And when these two planets converge in the sky while the sun travels through the depths of Scorpio, what you get is a cosmic window where doors that were closed suddenly unlock. But understand something crucial. These doors don't open by themselves. They don't open because you wait. They don't open because you wish. They open when you push, when you act, when you take the step your fear has been postponing for weeks, months, years. The sky is creating the pressure needed for you to move. It's removing the invisible obstacles. It's aligning the synchronicities. It's preparing the confirmations, but it needs your movement first. It needs your decision first. It needs your courage first. And this is the exact moment when the universe asks the most direct question it will ever ask you. Do you truly want to change your life, or do you just like the idea of changing your life? Because these 72 hours will reveal the answer, not with words, but with action, with decisions, with concrete steps. With moves that make you uncomfortable, with choices your old self would never have made. Mars brings the fire, Jupiter brings the opportunity, and you are the bridge between the two. During these days, specifically between October 28th and 30, what's favored is everything that requires courage without guarantees, breaking the pattern that keeps you in the same place. Making the decision you've been avoiding because it has real consequences. Sending the message that's scary to send. Making the call that changes everything. Starting the project without knowing how it will end. Taking the first step without having the whole map. Telling the truth, even if your voice trembles. Letting go of what no longer serves you, even if you don't know what comes next. This is the available energy. This is the cosmic current you can surf if you dare. But if you stay still, if you keep waiting for the perfect moment, if you keep asking for more signs, more confirmations, more evidence, then this wave will pass right over you, and you'll have to wait another 2 years for this configuration to return. And the reward of this transit isn't mystical or abstract. It's concrete, tangible, verifiable. When you move during this portal, the universe responds with immediate synchronicity. The right people appear, opportunities materialize, doors unlock, blocks dissolve, and what had been resistance for months becomes flow in a matter of hours. Not because the universe rewarded you, but because you finally aligned your frequency with the frequency of your destiny. You finally stopped vibrating in the energy of waiting and began vibrating in the energy of action. And when that happens, when you cross that internal threshold, the external reality has no choice but to reorganize to reflect your new vibration. This isn't magic. It's quantum mechanics. It's the fundamental principle of conscious manifestation. Your energetic field collapses possibilities into probabilities. And when you change your field through brave action, the probabilities change instantly. But every expansion demands integration. Every fire requires water. Every action needs reflection. And that's why the cycle doesn't end in the fire of Mars. It ends in the water of the moon. On October 31st, at the exact culmination of this portal, the moon enters Pisces, while the sun remains in Scorpio. And what this creates is something extraordinarily rare, a conjunction of the two deepest water energies of the zodiac: Scorpio, the water that transforms; Pisces, the water that dissolves. When these two frequencies meet in the sky, what happens on Earth is a day of emotional purification, spiritual healing, final release. This is not a day to push, not a day to force, not a day to do more. It's a day to feel, to let go, to forgive, to integrate, to allow everything you did in the previous days to settle into your nervous system and anchor into your soul. October 31st is the balm after the fire, the sacred rest after the battle. It is the moment when your spirit finally exhales and says, "I did it, I moved. I took the leap, and now I can rest in the trust that the universe sustains what I initiated." On this day, what's favored is everything that nourishes your inner world: silence, conscious solitude, contact with water, whether a long bath, an intentional shower, tears that finally flow, deep meditation, uncensored writing, closing rituals, honest conversations with your soul, surrender to the greater purpose that brought you here. Because after months of struggle, after weeks of resistance, after days of brave action, your system needs to integrate, to process, to assimilate the new identity you are birthing. And here is the truth no one tells you about real change. Change doesn't hurt at the moment of decision. It hurts at the moment of farewell. It hurts when you realize the person you were no longer exists. It hurts when you look back and see that the old you, with all its limiting beliefs, all its self-sabotage patterns, all its victim stories, has already died. And although that death was necessary, although it was what you asked for, what you begged for, what you pleaded for in your darkest moments, it still hurts. Because every death hurts, even the death of what was killing you. And October 31st is the day of the funeral, the day you honor who you were, the day you thank the old version of you for keeping you safe for so long, the day you let go with love instead of resentment, the day you forgive not others, but yourself for taking so long, for resisting so much, for being so afraid. And after action and after healing, after fire and after water, after the push and after the integration, what the silence has been gestating all this time finally arises. The turn, the transformation, the rebirth. Because what's truly happening between October 28th and 31 is not just an astrological transit. It is a process of complete metamorphosis. It is the death of one identity and the birth of another. And every metamorphosis follows the same pattern. First comes resistance. The old self fights to survive. It activates every defense mechanism, invents every excuse, creates every distraction, because the ego knows that if you move, if you truly move, it will die. And the ego will do anything to avoid its own extinction. It will remind you of all your past failures. It will show you every reason it won't work. It will whisper every story about why you are not enough, not ready, not at the right time. And if you listen to those voices, if you stop at that critical moment, then the cycle breaks and the old self wins another round. But if you push through that resistance, if you act despite fear, if you move despite doubt, then something changes. The resistance collapses. The old self surrenders, and in that space of surrender, the soul can finally speak. And what the soul asks for is not perfection, not certainty, not guarantees. What the soul asks for is expansion, growth, evolution, movement into the unknown, trust in the invisible, faith in the process. And when you finally give your soul what it's been asking for, when you finally stop negotiating with your destiny and simply jump, something miraculous happens. The universe responds not with applause, not with immediate validation, but with alignment, with synchronicity, with doors that open exactly when you need them, with people who appear exactly when you need them, with resources that materialize exactly when you need them. And this entire cycle, this dance between resistance and surrender, between fear and courage, between death and rebirth, boils down to three sacred verbs, three actions that define all true transformation: act, trust, integrate. Act without guarantees, trust without evidence, integrate without judgment. And when you master these three verbs, when you embody them in your nervous system, when they cease to be concepts and become your way of living, then you no longer need portals, planetary alignments, or specific dates, because you become the portal, you become the alignment, you become the sacred date. But until you reach that level of mastery, these cosmic moments are your training, your spiritual gym, the opportunities perfectly designed by the universe for you to practice the leap again and again until jumping becomes your nature. And the great lesson of this period, the truth that will determine whether this portal transforms you or simply passes over you, is this: you don't receive when you feel ready. You receive when you move, even if you don't feel ready. You don't manifest when you gain clarity. You manifest when you advance amid confusion. You don't change your life when everything is aligned. You change your life when you decide to align yourself first and trust that everything else will follow. This is the complete inversion of conventional thinking. The world teaches you to wait. The universe teaches you to move. The world teaches you to prepare until you feel safe. The universe teaches you that safety comes after the leap, not before. The world teaches you to control. The universe teaches you to trust. And between October 28th and 31, you will have to choose which teaching you follow. Because now, at this precise moment, the final choice is yours. The portal opened, the universe pushed, the energies aligned. Mars brought the fire, Jupiter brought the opportunity, the moon brought the healing, the sun illuminated the depths, and all of this perfect cosmic configuration, this celestial synchronicity, this unprecedented planetary convergence is designed for one thing: for you to take the step you've been avoiding, to make the decision you've been postponing, to speak the truth you've been keeping quiet, to start the project you've been planning, to let go of what you've been carrying, to become who you've been resisting being. And destiny awaits your movement, not your word, not your intention, not your visualization, your movement, your action, your decision embodied in the physical world. If you've made it this far in this message, if every word has resonated in the depths of your being like a bell recognizing its own sound, then you know this isn't random. You know you're not the 90% who quit in the middle of the road. You know this is your moment, your portal, your leap, and life is not going to wait. This specific moment, this exact configuration, this precise opportunity will not repeat in the same way. You can wait for the universe to give you another sign. You can wait to feel more prepared. You can wait to have more clarity, more resources, more time, more energy. But the truth is that if you wait to feel ready, you'll never be ready, because the leap, by definition, requires you not to be ready. It requires you to move amid fear. It requires you to advance amid uncertainty. It requires you to trust when there is no evidence. That is the nature of the leap. If it were comfortable, safe, predictable, it wouldn't be a leap. It would be a step. And steps don't change lives. Leaps do, and you've already faced the worst. You've already crossed the darkness. You've already survived the pain you thought would destroy you. You've already withstood the tests you thought you wouldn't overcome. You've already borne the weight you thought would crush you. All of that has already happened. You did it. And if you could go through all that, if you could survive all that, then you can definitely do this. You can take the step. You can make the decision. You can take the move your soul is begging you to make, because now there's only one thing left to do. Choose. Choose the leap over fear. Choose expansion over safety. Choose your destiny over your comfort. Choose your soul over your ego. And when you make that choice, when you finally cross that internal threshold, everything changes. Not because the world changes, but because you change. And when you change, the world has no choice but to change with you. So if this message reached you, if these words touched something within you that has been waiting for months, maybe years to be touched, then don't ignore it. Don't minimize it, don't rationalize it. Listen, feel, and act. Go to the comments right now and write the specific step you're going to take today. Not tomorrow, not next week. Today, write the decision you're going to make. Write the action you're going to execute. Write the truth you're going to say. Declare it. Make it public. Make it real. Because when you declare your intention out loud, when you write it, when you share it, you activate a completely different level of commitment. It's no longer just a thought in your mind. It's a promise in the quantum field. It's a contract with your destiny. It's a declaration to the universe that you're ready to receive what you've been asking for. The portal is open. The window is here. The moment is now. And the rest, everything else, the universe delivers. But it needs your movement first. It needs your courage first. It needs your faith first. So move, even if you tremble, even if it hurts, even if you don't know how it will turn out. Move, because on the other side of that movement is the life you've been dreaming of. On the other side of that leap is the version of you you've always known you could be. On the other side of that fear is the destiny your soul chose before it was born into this body. And between October 28 and 31, all the obstacles that have kept you from that destiny are being removed. All the doors that have been closed are being unlocked. All the signs you've been asking for are being delivered. And the only question that remains is, will you cross? Share this message with someone you know needs to hear it. Subscribe to keep receiving these updates in the coming critical days. And above all, act today, now, because this is the day everything changes. If you change, the world you knew is dissolving. The world your soul remembers is finally being born, and you are the bridge between the two. Welcome to the leap. Welcome to your destiny. Welcome home.